Welcome to episode 105 of the OVW podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. My name is Jackman Oaks.
Jackman's in the basement mixing up the medicine, and I'm out on the pavement thinking about the government. And I'm Brian Hines.
That is Bob Dylan.
Yes.
His Subterranean Homesick Blues.
That's right.
I don't know what album that one's on. Is that on Blonde originally?
You put me on the spot. I don't know off the top of my head.
No, it's on Highway 61 Revisited. That's
Okay,
when,
yeah.
That's like the first one he went, it kind of had the
Electric.
full band. Yeah. We got to the end of it there on that one. Today we're getting into all of the action from OVW Rise, which is OVW TV 1351, nicknamed Independence Rage 2025, which was wrestled on and recorded on July 1st, but was broadcast on July 3rd.
That's correct.
These are and we've been out a week, so that took us a little doing to actually work all that stuff out.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was math. I didn't know there was going to be math.
we got it though. We got it.
We did.
We're coming back
We
strong.
did.
Episode 105 coming back strong.
And Chapman, we were there for it, you and I.
Yeah, and it went long. Like, I think that we're at liberty to say that it went over 2 hours. And we ended up kind of seeing a more condensed version on TV. Didn't miss a lot of the action though. I thought that what we saw on television was like a very succinct package of what we saw live that evening.
I noticed it was only like 1 hour and 42 minutes and change.
And I'd say that that other 18 is probably just where the broadcaster,
commercials,
the hoopla and whatnot.
the live broadcast or the television broadcast would put in their local commercials or whatever. But it was a great night of wrestling. A lot of fun. A lot of changes, new scenery in Ohio Valley Wrestling after this evening. So a lot to get into over the course of the next hour or so here on the OVW podcast. But first, Brian Hines,
Yes.
you went to before we talk about the tour updates, you went to Element Eatery. You had a blast.
I did.
We went to Manchester Music Hall.
Yes.
We had a blast.
We sure did.
Oh, yeah.
That was a ton of fun. It seems like the energy at these shows, I know that you could not stop talking about how great the crowd was at Element Eatery.
It was fantastic, and I have a ton of video, and I haven't posted any reels yet because I've been busy getting back into the swing of things at work. But look for those on the social medias because they'll be out sooner than later.
And I can attest to the crowd at Manchester Music Hall. It was a fantastic night.
Oh, God, yeah.
Drinks
It was, in fact, sold out.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's fantastic.
One of the few times we have ever called a favor to get into a place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
Never.
right.
No. Not one of the few. We have never done that before.
That's
So,
I guess that's
Thank
true.
you to the powers that be.
Yeah,
because
no,
we
shout out to them.
literally could not buy a ticket.
And I'll take the blame, because you were sitting down to buy them, and I said no, they're cheaper at the door, because I looked online and there was a $9 service fee at online. I said, well, surely they're $15 at the door.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Nope. And
No.
for future reference, those who are going to see an OVW show, just buy them online.
Just buy them online.
Yes.
Just buy them online.
At OVWTix.com.
Learn from our mistakes. But I say all this to say that a couple weekends in a row with really great crowds. Hopefully they can finish the summer out strong here. Where can we find the OVW Superstars? How can we be a part of one of these great crowds?
Well, it's funny that you should ask because every Thursday you can find OVW at Hot Point Davis Arena. Doors open at 6:15, OVW Overdrive at 6:30, and OVW Rise runs from 7 to 9.
If I could,
Yes,
talking about hot crowds, Davis Arena last Tuesday.
For Independence Rage.
I bet.
Golly.
And not like last year's hot crowds.
No.
No, completely
No.
different thing.
The hot crowd where I thought I need to get to air conditioning or my life is in danger, which is what it was after last year's Independent Rage.
Yeah, that I wore 3 shirts. I packed 3 extra shirts for that because I knew it was
For
going to be a warm one.
24?
For 24, yes.
So you could change when you sweated through them? Okay,
Yeah,
I was
I was good for about an hour.
He
and I had
changed
to-
after every interview he did.
well, that was on Saturday.
That was Saturday. Yeah, that
That's
was a little
another
bit
thing
different.
we need to talk about.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a little bit. But this Saturday, you can catch OVW at Courtesy Acura in Lexington, Kentucky. That is July 12th.
That's a free show.
That is a free show at the car dealership. Dainty Fest, the Merriweather.
The Merriweather's the venue. Dainty Fest is the event.
I
Do
see.
you guys remember last year?
Yes.
We'll try to dig up that video we have of Al doing the Dainty. which is where you have the where you have
Yeah.
the bent piece of metal and you have a stick and you have to hit the metal so that it pops up and then hit it one-handed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And that is the game of dainties, and you're not allowed to practice. If they catch you practicing, you're not allowed to compete.
You're disdaintified.
Yes.
Yes.
That's. I don't know if they know that word, but you should write to them and let them know it.
I
'cause
will do that. I'll go ahead and write that now.
You got some weird stuff up there in Louisville.
They do. You gotta love it though.
They can't just drink like we do in Lexington.
We do some other stuff too.
They do dainty things.
Yeah, I guess so.
That is.
I was gonna ask if the dainty was ironic, but no, I do remember. Do you remember that clip?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And
I'm gonna try to dig it up for Fan Zone tomorrow.
if I remember right, he did it first try.
Yeah, I think he did pretty well.
You only
Yeah.
get one try, as near as I remember.
Oh well, then yeah,
A
I
year?
remember him doing it.
You only get one try a year?
That's it.
Basically, that's how it works.
One try a year.
Take a lifetime, and you'll get good at it.
Apparently. Let's see. That is July 26th. The Marion County Event Center, Lebanon, Kentucky, August 2nd.
Oh, that's where you get wild.
Oh yeah.
All
Oh.
these are new, by the way, in
Yes.
case you haven't noticed.
I am unfamiliar with all of these. So
Lebanon is that's like the area that like the bluegrass conspiracy took place in. Was in and around that area.
what's the bluegrass
Oh,
conspiracy?
I forget you're not from Kentucky.
That's not where they do the home front, is it?
No, that's a different thing. Bluegrass conspiracy was like, for, I guess like through the 70s and 80s, Kentucky was like the hub for illegal marijuana. Like internationally distributed illegal marijuana a lot of it was grown in Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky homegrown was a whole thing.
And
Wow.
these guys called the Cornbread Mafia were kind of the point person here in Kentucky. They were kind of the organized facet of it here in Kentucky.
Is Cornbread aware of this?
I think he's from Kentucky, so probably.
But that's not him.
But that area,
We don't know.
That area was, no, people don't talk about. So okay, actually, here's the thing. Everybody in Kentucky had to drink with one of these guys, right? Every one of them cousins was in the corner. It's one of those. It's like a folk.
Oh, I see.
It's a very real thing, and and I think the Cocaine Bear is all wrapped up in Bluegrass conspiracy as
Really?
well. Yeah, but everybody. It's one of those things that like in Kentucky has grown to like folk legend, like where everybody's cousin or somebody they went to high school with.
Okay.
But it's a very real thing that happened. Great book. Great book.
Yeah,
Bluegrass
worth your time
Conspiracy.
to read. It's a good read.
Yep.
Right up there with some Hunter S. Thompson stuff as far as good Kentucky reading.
Wow. Okay. Let's see.
So all I'm saying is be careful out there in Lebanon. Cornbread Mafia can get you. My cousin's gonna get you.
Mine too. I have a cousin who's in the Cornbread Mafia.
And here all this time, I thought it was the rhythm that was going to get me, but I suppose I was wrong.
That's in Indiana.
That's a good one.
Oh, okay.
The rhythm will get you in Indiana.
Why?
Hoosiers are weird. Speaking of Indiana, keep reading.
Well, let's see. Bonus Pites in Longport, Indiana on September 6th. We've got the LaPorte Civic Auditorium in LaPorte, Indiana on September 27th. Wow, there's two in Indiana.
They should really call that the Laportium. I like that better than what they call it.
Yeah, I like that as well. We'll go ahead and cross this out. The Laportium in LaPorte, Indiana, September 27th. Owensboro Events Center in Owensboro, Kentucky. That is November 1st. And of particular interest to myself, who is from the Buckeye State, the Jungle Gym's Oscar Event Center in Fairfield, Ohio for Thanksgiving Thunder.
We don't know. It's
We don't
around
know?
Thanksgiving Thunder
It is a
season.
round Thanksgiving Thunder on November 21st, 2025. You can get your tickets for all of these events at OVWTix. That's TIX.com.
Couple of things. I think we might have skipped over in the Bluegrass Conspiracy talk. Bluegrass Sportsplex in Elizabethtown, Kentucky on August 29th. Did we? I think we
I
might
don't
have
think we
skipped
said. Yeah, I think we may have went past it. Sorry about that.
And then I was also going to ask, you are a patron of Jungle Gyms.
I am.
You brought stuff back from Jungle Gyms last week.
As a matter of fact, I went to Jungle Gyms on the way to the Element Eatery show.
Right on, right on. So is this the Jungle Gyms that you go to, the Fairfield, Ohio one?
No, I usually frequent the one in Eastgate. That is in Batavia.
Okay.
And this is a little bit further north. It is at the top of the 275 loop, if you are familiar with the greater Cincinnati area.
I have heard it's bigger.
Okay, I am impressed with Jungle Gyms at Eastgate. It is worth the
Oh no, it's an all-day trip to see everything.
It is worth the trip. If you If you can't find what you're looking for there, it doesn't exist. But if I've heard that this Jungle Gyms is bigger, this is the original Jungle Gyms.
So you've never actually been to
No, I have not.
So no,
It has a whole event center, like a ballroom. This is not going to be like in the parking lot. This is in
that's
the
what I was.
ballroom.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to. I wanted to see if you had the scoop on
No, I
on
have
what
no
this place looks
insight
like,
on,
maybe,
this one, but I will go ahead and do some research.
They serve. You can walk around with beer at Jungle Gyms, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
They
Well,
have
no,
a bar in the beer section, and the beer section is so much bigger than this studio. If you've been here, you'll know.
No, but Jackman, no, they have a whole ballroom. Like they have an event center at this at that one.
Interesting.
So I've seen pictures. You can go online and look at it. But yeah, it would hold. Looks like 200 or 300 people. Maybe I would imagine if they're going to put the ring up in there, it'll hold even more than that. But yeah, it's an amazing little place. At least I hear. But I too have
Never
only
been.
been to Southgate. So
Yeah, I think that's the one that I went to as well.
Yeah.
I don't remember a ballroom in the one that I went to. This is 15 years ago almost.
But either way, the restrooms have won the best restrooms in America several times.
They're basically Epcot lands. If you've ever been to Epcot, they have like here's a picture of an international culture just in this one little space.
Yeah.
And the bathrooms, to the best of my memory, it's been almost a decade for me since I've been there. They remind me of like going to one of those for some weird country that does not exist. You go in there and it's a whole other place. And you go in through a porta potty, right?
Yes, yeah. There are porta potties at the front of the store, and it looks like you are just going to go and like you're on a construction site or something. And then you open the door, and it opens into this very, very nice facility that you are free to use and encouraged to use.
Is it single person when
Nope.
you walk through the porta potty?
Oh no.
No. It's
No.
just the door.
Like
That's just
the
the
porta
door.
potty itself is like just a tiny little hallway, and then there's a whole room on the other side of that.
See, I don't
It's
like
like
this.
Narnia of bathrooms.
I don't like this. I don't like the idea of having to walk into a porta potty into a nice restroom. That's one thing I don't like. Another thing I don't like, whenever you go to these restrooms and they got two-way mirrors and you can see other people while you're peeing, but they can't see you.
That's weird. I've never had that happen.
I've had it happen twice, 2 different times. One of them was in Louisville. I'm telling you, man, they get into some weird stuff up there.
I thought you said it was European.
No, I was peeing.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm with you now.
But yeah, those are two things. These are two things about bathrooms I do not like.
Okay.
I'll have to see it in execution. Maybe I'll be lucky enough to see it in execution.
Well, I feel confident that if you do see it in person, you will be impressed. It will change your opinion.
I'll reserve judgment, but definitely the two-way mirror thing, that's hard out.
That's
hard out
yeah.
on that.
That's
No,
right
that
out.
seems creepy too.
Yeah.
I don't like it either.
I don't
European
like
or Louisville or otherwise.
And I paid this place I went to in Louisville where this happened. I paid a lot of money to be there. I was doing much better financially at the time, and then I had to go in that bathroom. My food's sitting there when I come out. Not even hungry. Not even hungry. Took it in leftovers.
Messed for your whole day, huh?
Took it in leftovers. Very nice steak place. I will not say what it's called. I do not want other people going into that bathroom.
Steaks or us.
So we have another order of business before we jump proper into the pay-per-view, or not even pay-per-view quality television episode.
That is correct.
How should we address this? We tried to make it look over here like we had a third chair. It probably doesn't translate as well as we would have liked it to.
There's a microphone there. There's some headphones.
There's a microphone there. There's some headphones there. As we already pointed out, this is kind of a small studio. Smaller than the beer section at Jungle Gyms, as you put it. But we're 100 episodes into this thing. Over 100 episodes into this thing.
105 to be exact.
And it's
plus all the fan zone and the special episodes and the interviews.
Yeah, all the stuff that we've done. And we've been thinking that like maybe having a somewhat regular or a rotating panel of a third chair would be an interesting thing to do. And we have a couple of people in mind here at the outset of it. But if it's anything that you guys would ever be interested in doing, shoot us a message on Instagram. If the logistics work, then they work. If they don't, we'll try to make them work. But it is something that we want to do to kind of we've had a lot of fun over the course of the last 105 episodes and all the fan zones and all the interviews. But we want to bring something a little different, I think, to you guys over the course of the next 100 or 200 or 300 episodes of this thing. And the easiest way to do that and the most fun way to do that, and for us, I think, is going to be inviting, like I said, either a consistent person or a rotating panel of people onto this show. So
What he's trying to say is, there's a third man, brother.
You know that
you can't do brother because he was the third man.
he was the third man, and that was exactly 29 years ago yesterday,
you know what was exactly 20 years ago today?
2005.
Jim Cornette got released from Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I did not know that.
That is a fact. Yeah. Long story short, we want to bring on a new voice. We want to bring on a different voice. There will be people that we bring on into this position that you've heard from before. There will be people that we bring on in this position that you haven't. But we're very much looking forward to it. And again, this is just kind of about looking at the next. OVW is in their new era, right? We're hearing that all the time. I think it's obvious after last week's episode of television. I think it's been, since the Haverford West people. Morley Sports Management came on.
Yes.
That's correct.
There's been a new era in OVW, new excitement. And we want to do something to kind of try to capture that new excitement on our side too. So I think that's well enough said. I think that's about all I can say about it. But we're looking forward to this adventure, and we're a message away. So,
Yes.
I guess OVWTix.com. Plug that one more time, and we will be back right after this.
Hey, folks. Tiny Brian here, executive producer of the OVW podcast, here to let you know that starting next Monday, OVW interviews return. We spent a very long 4 hours over the weekend and got a number of new interviews for you. And we will start those next Monday with your OVW Rush Division champion, Stunning Steven Steele.
You've seen him on television. Wait till you hear him in the studio.
I have never been called baby doll that many times in a short period of time. Just getting him in here. So
when
y'all
did you
could
call
talk to
baby
him.
doll?
When's
When's the last time before Steven Steele?
when someone called me baby doll, it
Yes.
would be hard to. Maybe a girlfriend has done it at some point, but I don't have a clear memory of it happening.
I just was curious. Thought it was something somebody called you on the regular.
I don't think so.
Wasn't
so
me.
yes, Stunning Steven Steele will premiere next Sunday at 8 p.m. on YouTube, and then Monday morning in the audio feed. And we hope you'll join us and have a listen. Now back to the OVW podcast already in progress.
All right, Brian Hine, let's do it. Start off big.
Don't get much bigger than that.
All of our clips, courtesy of Ohio Valley Wrestling, OVW, by the way.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, no bigger place to start than a title match on a hot feud like Sophia and Freya has been over the course of the last few months. Sophia Rose, I think from very early on was earmarked as a women's champion. I think she just had such natural support, such natural charisma. I think that's like the perfect role for a wrestler and a performer like Sophia Rose.
Yeah, we've been saying for a long time that it is the year of the Rose.
Having said that, Freya, over the last little bit, has proven herself in equal measure deserving of that title, just in terms of her role in the division, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So let's. What did you think about this match?
Starting with the intensity right off the bat.
100%.
There was no phoning it in from either one of these two ladies. Freya looked as tenacious as I've ever seen her. Sophia Rose was pulling out all the stops.
Big follow this energy for this match.
Yes.
Big follow this energy here at the top of the show. Want to take a second to kind of highlight also the we saw throughout all of the evening the Eric Cornish kind of holding the mic for the referee.
Yes.
So
You love the extra pageantry.
Yeah.
At least I do.
That's a new step in these matches, kind of giving the opportunity for something that we talked about a long time ago, last Manchester Music Hall show, which is maybe these refs have personality at some point. Maybe these refs.
Yeah, that's right. We did see a little personality at the last Manchester show.
Right, but I think giving the referees microphone time is inevitably going to lead to each of them having a different voice.
Well, naturally speaking, of course.
You know what I mean?
I'm just glad to see poor Dallas made it back to Davis Arena.
Yeah, good for him, man.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And his hair's coming back, too.
Oh, good. He has a very nice head of hair.
He is the ref with the good hair.
Yeah.
No, this match was very physical and very kind of it felt like it felt like two bodies like actually like going up against each other, right?
Yeah.
It felt like a fight.
Yeah, Freya is starting off the match by hitting Sophia with her coat as she takes her coat off as a sign of disrespect, to let you know that she wasn't playing.
Yeah, and the kind of brutality from Freya rather was a consistent theme of this match. Let's go ahead and see our first clip.
All right.
Freya trying to end this one early.
Smart move on her part.
She's got
Anytime you get the chance to...
She's got that new pile driver. Sophia Rose comes in with an arm drag. Good stuff from Sophia Rose. And then
I did not see that reversal coming.
That was a great reversal. It was a good spot for that reversal. And then up and over for the Hurricane Rana, and then the drop kick down low. And
drop kick to the knee.
Drop kick to the knee, and then one to the midsection there from Sophia Rose. When Sophia Rose gets lit, like her fuse goes fast, man.
Yeah.
That's what's made her such a great like champion. That's what makes her so like just on television against this version of Freya.
Such a great competitor.
Such a great competitor. And like I just love the contrast of where these two women are in their characters right now. And Freya, no questions asked any longer, who's kind of the boss, right, after this evening. Let's go ahead and see our next.
If you don't mind, it seems like Sophia definitely has this, but you could kind of see it in that last clip. She's so up-tempo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, once upon a time, it was sort of interpreted as kind of a giggly, bubbly personality. I think she shed a good portion of that.
Not at Independence Rage, it wasn't.
No, not anymore. Like I said, she shed most of that America's Sweetheart personality now. But the intensity and the high tempo of bam, bam, bam still kind of remains. And it's pretty impressive in my mind.
Well, and she's speaking to your point about maybe like shedding the American Sweetheart thing, like she's put in a lot of work to make her offensive repertoire a lot more extensive than it was during that era. Like just pure, like simply put.
Oh yeah,
like,
definitely.
Sophia Rose kind of used her time as champion to really, really, really define herself as a wrestler and grow as a wrestler.
Oh, you could definitely tell that she's been putting in the work.
And I mean, even something like what we just saw with that arm drag out of the pile driver. That's just good, smart kind of like keeping a wrestling match together with wrestling moves, like with wrestling maneuvers. And the way she did it is quick as a hiccup. Never seen her do it before.
Yeah.
Right. Good stuff from Sophia here. But new women's champion. Let's see it.
Well, we got one in the middle here.
Oh.
Yeah, we see more of Sophia on this fast offense.
Super kick to Freya. What do we call that one?
I don't know, but I really like it.
It's dope.
I do too. Yeah.
I was watching other wrestling, which I very rarely do these days, and I saw someone do something similar, but I didn't catch what
and here we go.
Maneuver was called.
Freya had that one scouted.
Yep, legs up. Bad day for our good friend Sophia Rose.
And then
yeah, we'll go straight into
Freya getting a couple, one club there on the back. Just forcing Sophia up and the pile driver. And I think it was...
that's banned, right?
Well, she's been using it for a couple weeks now. No one said anything. Maximo does a pile driver. But I think in WWE it's banned because the thing in WWE was like and I think that this is some of the most BS while we're talking about it. BS in the history of WWE is like, well, the only person that was allowed to use the pile driver was Undertaker because he had so much respect in the locker room. No, he like went to Vince and said he didn't want anybody else doing it so he could protect his move. That's what happened. Like,
Yeah.
let's not. But if you hear the WWE version of it, it's like it's a banned maneuver because it's so dangerous. And the only person who's skilled enough to do it is the Undertaker.
Is that Jim Ross?
No, that's about my vague Undertaker impression. Just like anytime I talk about the Undertaker, I feel you got to talk like this.
Got to get a Texas accent going on.
Yeah, the American badass.
Okay.
He's in the good for him. He's a fellow podcaster. I know I want to give him a shout out. I know that he's not doing.
He definitely needs the numbers.
I know that. I want to make sure that if you haven't listened to 6 Feet Under with the Undertaker, that you go and get that in. Okay.
Wow, don't sound bitter or anything.
I'm not.
If he comes through here with a choke slam, it's the one over here to my left.
Gladly, I will gladly take a choke slam from the Undertaker.
I was
Are you
gonna say,
kidding me?
can I be next?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, no, I do think that kind of the story of this match was like Freya or Sophia kind of finding these like hope spots, and Freya very quickly reminding the audience that like she ain't
Turning them into nope spots.
Yeah, turning them into nope spots. Yeah, okay, that's all. That's it. That's it. I don't have anything else to say. Congratulations, Freya. We also see lovely Miss Larkin attend to Sophia Rose.
She could be seriously hurt.
She could be.
They threw up the X at the end of the match.
Pile driver, man.
Yeah.
That's kind of, without being as facetious as I was before, that's what we're supposed to understand about the pile driver is from a wrestling perspective is that it ends careers, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see what's next with Freya and the women's title in the next couple of weeks. For now, it looks like the friendship of lovely Miss Larkin and Sophia Rose is going strong, though. So that's kind of what we have here at the end of this
that's
match.
where we leave this this match, and I'm sure Freya probably went out for ramen after that.
Yeah,
that woman does love some ramen.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it.
About 2 of the evening, it was the semifinals match, one of the semifinals match that we see throughout the evening for the OVW heavyweight title. This time between friends. Actually, I guess both semifinals between friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Friends, Crixus, and Tony Gunn.
You know what was never said in this match? The word, as far as I could tell, revolution.
I think that we have
Left it behind.
And we can even speak a little bit more about that as we get towards the end of the Tony Gunn Crixus stuff isn't over just at the end of this match, right?
No.
So we'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, I do think for what it's worth, we've kind of new era, right?
It would appear so. Star Rider has the Doom Syndicate, the Doom Squad. J-Rod is an American Gladiator. We didn't hear Revolution music at all.
We
during
haven't in
Independence Rage.
weeks.
Yeah, so it would appear as though, at least for now, we are Revolutionless.
So good observation though.
I guess I need to take our 5th sign down. Thanks again to the fan who made that for us over a year ago.
That was Mark.
Made it for an event and then gifted it to us afterwards.
Mm-hmm. It might have been Independence Rage.
Might have been.
I think it was.
I mean, it would have been about a year ago. That was like really kind of when the revolution was
Revolutionary.
on fire. Yeah,
they were revolutioning.
The Crixus Tony Gunn match. What did you think of it?
Very solid.
Yeah,
Both sides.
I thought it was pretty plotting, right? Like I thought that it was very deliberate,
Methodical, maybe.
And I think that that's kind of the match. I'll say the same thing about the Dustin and Cal match a little bit later. I think that's the match that these two guys had to have at this point in their relationship with each other. Is like it's not a grudge match. And it might not even be fully like out of respect. But these are two guys that know each other, and they're also two very, very smart wrestlers who aren't looking at this match as much as they're looking at the next one.
Right.
and therefore kind of maybe, conserving some strength a little bit. That might, it might explain some of the kind of pacing here of this match. But at the end of the day, these are two of like your best guys. These are two of like your most respected guys. So
Oh, yeah.
a match like this is always going to have, a place on the card. Going into it, are you surprised by the outcome?
Not especially, no.
Me neither.
I mean, it could have gone either way, but if I was going to put money on it, I would go with Crixus because he never lost the title in the first place, and I'm sure that
His song will tell you.
yeah, his song will tell you that.
Yes, it will.
I need someone to collect me the actual lyrics to this song. I really want to know them.
I mean, you can hear them pretty plainly.
Yeah, maybe I'll sit down on a recording and just listen and try to get them all.
This sounds like a Brian Hines thing.
What's that?
Figuring out all the lyrics to Crixus' new song.
Oh, if you want me to figure out the lyrics to Crixus' song, I'll just make them up.
Well, I mean, that's what everybody does when they make a song.
Yeah.
But,
I'll just make up my own lyrics.
Let's go ahead and see our clip here.
surely.
No, it's Brian.
Yeah, no, this was like a pretty.
That is a classic textbook Tony Gunn.
Maneuver.
Yes.
What a maneuver! No, this was we start with like the collar and elbow tie up.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was a not necessarily like these are two guys that don't have to go off the top rope. These are two guys that don't have to do 450 splashes or whatever. Like this was a wrestling match. This was a mat match, right?
Yeah, largely yes.
And I think that they kind of returned to the idea that they know each other so well, and that they have been around each other so long that they kind of can, they make for interesting dance partners in that way because they have worked on the same side of the ring so often. Let's go ahead and see our next clip. Tony Gunn is in the best shape he's ever been in.
Yeah,
Crixus is
that
for what it's worth.
little combination from Shotgun Tony Gunn, they were like 2 or 3 reversals on top of reversals into new holds. That was just a really impressive sequence from Shotgun Tony Gunn.
We'll watch it again here. I just finally had to pick the spot where I was going to cut in to get to the finish.
Yeah, that would be like a whole 45-second
on.
spot before we get to the part where we get the pin attempt.
So impressive, just watching their mat work. It was great.
No, and I like throughout this match too that Crixus kind of plays ipso facto babyface because Tony Gunn is wholly more arrogant and kind of more smarmy than he is. But Crixus isn't necessarily, as we see throughout the evening, he's not like a full
no.
babyface yet, And I appreciate that, like those dynamics, like because you find them in the storyline. Like Crixus gets to be a babyface against Tony Gunn, but doesn't necessarily get to be one against Cal Hero.
That's true.
Like, and you have, that's all in the one night as well. Like, I just love those dynamics. Like,
Yeah.
I love those comparisons in wrestling. I think it makes for very interesting wrestling television.
Yeah, I guess in OVW you've got bad guys and worse guys.
And so Crixus ends with his Highland Heat Seeker and tries to shake Tony Gunn's hand afterwards. Tony Gunn doesn't go for it.
No, he's not especially happy with Crixus. No, I can see that.
So, bout 3 of the evening. Another heavyweight championship title tournament match. Semifinal.
The second of 2.
Second of 2. Back to back.
Friend versus friend.
Between Dustin Jackson and Cal Hero. When we went live, had some great seats. Some really killer
There's no
seats.
bad seat in Davis Arena.
No bad seats in Davis Arena. I had a really good one, though. I had a really, really good one. Getting to see this match, the seat I was sitting in, and the crowd that I was sitting in, was a true pleasure.
Who were you sitting with?
Just sitting in the crowd. Just being a part of the crowd.
Oh,
I mean.
gotcha.
We had to scramble to find some seats though.
Yeah, it was packed in there,
full.
man.
I can imagine.
It was packed in there.
where I normally put us when I'm the one who gets to pick the seats, Brian.
One of the
Like up
corners.
in the corner, up on the TV cam side. no place to sit there.
I thought that this match between Cal Hero and Dustin Jackson did everything it needed to do for their story together, for their friendship, and to move on a little bit from them.
Kind of distance them from each other?
Yes. I thought that this match checked so many boxes for OVW and for these two guys. And on top of that, it was just a heck of a match. It was just a heck of a match to watch. There's a ton of ideas that we can throw around that are very similar to the ones that we were talking about in the Crixus and Tony Gunn match. Like, oh, they're friends, they know each other. You know, they're more used to sharing the same side of the ring than being on opposing sides of it.
Sure.
All of those dynamics exist inside of Dustin Jackson and Cal Hero as well. But as your two like white meat baby faces.
I was surprised to see Dustin Jackson kind of pat Cal Hero on the head early in the match.
Well, I did catch one of those. You want to look at it here?
Sure. Leapfrog. Shoulder tackle.
And usually that's the thing.
Head pat. Reminds me of an episode of Benny Hill.
So did I miss Dustin doing it to Cal?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Dustin did it first. This was a retaliatory head pat.
Little quid pro quo between these two guys. Little friendly rivalry, little big brother, you know, brotherly love type thing, you know. Not necessarily, hey, I'm better than you because I've just beat you, like in a wrestling context. Just like, hey, kid, keep up.
Yeah.
Throughout this match, there's a point where Dustin Jackson goes to the outside. Almost gets counted out. Right?
Which part are you referring to?
Cal,
is it the part where he does the cannonball from the ring apron and Cal moves out of the way?
Mm-hmm.
Because I literally laughed out loud when I saw that. I couldn't help it, man.
What made you laugh harder? Him getting instantly eliminated from the Women's Royal Rumble? Or
Wow.
I think we found the winner.
Wow. I hadn't thought about that. And it was the Nightmare Rumble.
Yeah, it was the Nightmare Rumble.
Nightmare
She
Rumble,
comes
sorry.
in. She's ready to like show herself, and she goes charging across the ring, and wouldn't you know it, low bridge, and boop, that's it.
But no, I love Cal saying in the middle of this match, not winning this way, not against Dustin Jackson.
No. Do we have that clip?
No, I don't have him putting back in the ring. No.
That's okay. We're about to watch it on my computer. So if you hear me burst out laughing in the middle of this conversation, that's why.
Every match on the card this evening was really, really extraordinary. It was really, really wonderful. It's a great episode of wrestling television.
Here it is.
If you're going back to watch one match, Cal Hero, Dustin Jackson.
It was a very good match.
Now, I will say, in the live, I was a little more confused on the outcome, but watching it back on television, I see exactly what happened. But in the moment live, I was just kind of so exhilarated, to be 100% honest with you, so wrapped up in the story that I kind of missed Cal's standing O. Can we see that really quick?
Yeah, this is extraordinary.
But
really.
I can see it plain as day on television.
You love that cell.
Dustin Jackson's just kind of trying to pump Cal up, saying, hey, we got to finish this. Shoots him into the ropes, tries to go up for the power bomb, and the standing O.
That is just impressive. Dustin Jackson thinks that he's got Cal right where he wants him, and nope.
I love that Cal's pretty much out himself during the cover.
Which is ironic because a lot of times Dustin Jackson has found himself in a similar situation, but this time the shoe was on the other foot.
And I've said this 1,000 times. I'll say it again because I think that this is an excellent example of it. This is what makes the stand and go such a cool move. Hit it on anybody, hit it out anywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's not as dramatic as like, you know, in the context of Cal being exhausted, in the context of Cal just having a war, right? In the context of Cal not even being able to stand up after he took the victory, the standing O is a low effort maneuver that is devastating.
Well, it's a classic it makes Cal kind of one of those out of nowhere guys.
Right.
Like Randy Orton is an out of nowhere guy. He will suddenly get his
RKO.
RKO on him. I used DDP was an out of nowhere guy
With a diamond cutter.
With a diamond cutter, yeah.
Arn Anderson, I think, is
With the spine buster?
Yeah, I think the spine buster is it's not as like flashy as a standing O or an RKO or something like that. But I think the spine buster, more than anything, fits the
it's
definition
quite devastating,
of an out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, like
going into the ropes, you could come out doing 4 or 5 different things. No, that's the last thing you want to be doing.
So these guys remain friends after the match.
They did.
Handshakes and hugs. No, I'm not surprised. Dustin Jackson, Cal Hero boys, right?
Yeah.
And Dustin Jackson, he's not, from a character's perspective, he's not the type of guy that is going to lose a match like that and be upset about it. He's going to say, I did my best, I just wasn't the guy that day.
Yep.
So we have in the finals, just to paint the picture, Crixus and Cal Hero.
That's correct.
That's the main event of the evening.
What a perfect main event. That's just, I love those two. They're so over with the Davis Arena crowd and have been ever since we've been doing this.
Applebee's called You're Late to Work. Oh, it's for Drew Hernandez.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
I laughed second hardest at that.
They got him on that one. I'm not going to lie.
What was that? Was that a sign?
It was a sign that had the Applebee's logo, and it said, Applebee's called, you're late for work, or you're late for your shift.
It was a crowd sign here in our 4th match between Tony Evans and Drew Hernandez versus the OVW U.S. champion Eric Surge and Jay De Niro. Interesting, I think. I mean, maybe it's not. I just don't know that I would have gone, like, Eric Surge, Tony Evans, Jay De Niro, Drew Hernandez. Like, I don't know if I would have, like, jumbled all that together, but it makes sense. Like, I see how they got there.
Yeah, I can definitely see how they got there because it was Superior Tony Evans versus Eric Surge.
Mm-hmm.
And De Niro has beef with Hernandez because Hernandez is the new insurance policy and De Niro is now his own man. My only beef with this match is we didn't really get a good look at Jay De Niro's shoes.
He's wearing red this week. I probably went with a different pair of shoes.
But there were a couple weeks ago. I'll have to go back and look at this. He asked me if I was there on Thursday, but the Thursday before the Element Eatery show, and I told him that I wasn't. And he was like, "Man, you missed out on some sweet wing tips." So I'm going to have to go back and do some research.
I don't know. I like when my titles are
in contention,
are just floating out there on their own. I like a good, just straightforward title feud. That's what I like.
I don't disagree with you, but I feel like this match is more of a table setting for what we'll probably be seeing in the next 2 to 3 weeks, or maybe even 4 to 6 among these 4 competitors.
There's, very, very, very few times where like everything's not intentional and deliberate and like a stepping stone to the bigger, grander story.
Right.
I'm just complaining about what I like. I just like when the title feud is just the title feud.
But every other title was in contention in this show.
That's true. That's
pretty crazy.
And really. I don't think we needed to run Surge and Tony back this early.
No,
either.
I like giving them. This is a thing I associate with WCW, where you take a feud and then you step it back by making it a tag team. I'm sure everybody does that, but
which allows for a greater expansion of the feud in the future. 1 step backward, 2 steps forward, or something like that.
Yeah,
indeed.
You
just like titles.
I just like titles, man. I like belts.
Well, we were both disappointed because you like titles and I like shoes.
That's true.
I guess that just leaves me with liking handbags.
Can we see our first belt, please? Or our first belt. Our first clip, please?
Now we're just talking about accessories.
Oh, sorry, brother. I didn't mean to knock your microphone into you.
That's okay. If that's the worst thing that happens today, we'll be fine.
No, you can see his shoes. Look.
Oh, I missed it.
Hang on. Well, if I can convince. There they are.
I think those are just the normals.
Yeah.
No, they appear to be green. He told me about those.
I'll defer to you.
They're new shoes. They're nice.
So check out the
headbutt.
So
he wore the green and the red like he's like a gangster
Christmas
Santa.
in July?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe he's celebrating Christmas.
Christmas Mafia.
Half Christmas.
So just a bunch of chaos.
Oh yeah.
Well, not Christmas
started
chaos.
With the headbutt. Watch for the headbutt. There it is.
Solid Eric Surge move.
Yeah.
Something else that you can just kind of pull out of nowhere too, by the way.
I'm liking Drew Hernandez in this role as like kind of a brawler too. Like he's just throwing kind of stiff punches, spears. You know, like I kind of like him in this role as like a true like enforcer, like bodyguard. You know, like a dude at a club would fight. You know,
Or dress.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Drew Hernandez checking the list. Yeah.
You're not on the list, kid. I'm sorry.
Jay De Niro is checking his list and checking it twice, and Drew Hernandez is checking the list and telling you that you didn't get in.
No. Your girlfriend can, but no, not you. You're out.
A significantly different take on basically the same role that Jay De Niro had.
Yeah, it had to be. It had to be.
Yeah, it couldn't be new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah, it couldn't. It had to smell similar, not exactly the same. Let's go ahead and see our last clip here. Finally get to see Jay and Drew kind of pair up. Jay goes for a spine buster. It looks like Drew gets like a DDT on him. Eric Surge with the big time power bomb on Tony Evans.
He calls that a sky high.
That's got to be it, and it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that exchange between De Niro and Hernandez, it was kind of like a null set. Like they both kind of got the worst of it at the same time. Superior's there in his tighty whities.
And they did not let him forget it.
No, they sure didn't.
Hardly ever do.
Nope.
Eric Surge and Jay De Niro, U.S. champion Eric Surge and Jay De Niro take the victory. Bout 5 of the evening, Brian Hines.
This was the rushiest match of the evening.
It's the most rushiest match of Independence Rage.
In a few short weeks, the Rush division has made itself the place to be. And it's not just because of Steven Steele. It's not just because of the new champion.
No.
It's because of all the new blood in general.
There are so many outstanding competitors in the Rush division. I mean, between the couple of Thursday night shows we've seen in the last 3 or 4 weeks, Element Eatery, Independence Rage, the Manchester show. For the love of God, the Manchester show.
It's fantastic.
Completely outstanding.
J.J. Lawson, man.
Yeah.
J.J. Lawson.
Ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit A.
Did you pick that up Saturday from him?
I sure did, and I left it in Brian's car because I got somebody to put it in Brian's car because once you were in the venue where you were not allowed to leave.
Well, it is there on the everything you bought is there on the table.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much, Amazing Maria.
No, the trifecta thing I got.
Oh, okay.
You do love their read between the lines foam finger. At least I do.
Yeah, I tried to shake their hand and they wouldn't shake my hand. They made me do they made me touch fingers with them.
Yeah, they
I'm not surprised.
It was funny to me. It caught me off guard though. So just because I think we've been shaking
I love
hands
how
all
Ashton
afternoon.
Adonis was wearing his tag team belt at the Manchester, and of the 3 fingers, the fingers on the outside were tucked into the belt.
Oh yeah,
leaving
that was funny.
the one finger in the middle being the middle finger, loud and proud to greet anybody who came up to say hello.
But back to this Rush Division match. Tables, ladders, chairs match. Anything goes, and everything went.
As it often does in the Rush division, yes.
Who are your standouts here?
Who wasn't? I mean, in the
Fair.
Rush division, who is not a standout at this point? Because I can name, half a dozen people in the Rush division and give you reasons why each one of them is outstanding.
I think J.J. Lawson, no surprise, has been putting on a string of excellent performances. Commentary acknowledged the same. So I think J.J. Lawson's a standout. Just anybody in the middle of the match where they made the scaffolding thing. Like anybody who had the balls to get up on that thing, I'm going to go ahead and give credit to. I'm going to go ahead and give Brandon Davis big credit, and hopefully
we'll see a little bit of that in a second.
And hopefully he's okay. But
You've got Brandon Davis, you've got Thomas Heim,
you've got
Justice Davis, Chris Exodus.
I didn't even list them all because it was just everybody.
Showtime. I mean,
that list would sprawl into the other room.
There's a spot where Obsidian Angel has a big time power spot. I mean, everyone got a little bit of time to breathe and a little bit of time to shine. And
there's Showtime.
One of the great kind of things that came back that this match came back to was anytime a majority of the division had a chance to get their hands on Steven Steele,
They took it.
They just took it.
Yeah.
He got beat up he got just like gang stomped for a majority of this match, right?
Yeah.
And but seriously, like a lot of really, really, really impressive stuff. I thought Icon Lee was fun in this match. I thought this match was a lot of fun in general. I thought everybody should be really happy with themselves. I think everyone in the Rush division should be really happy with where they're at because this is the place to be right now. Like I said, it's because of all of them, not just because of Steven Steele. It's because of all of them.
All y'all.
Chris Exodus.
Yeah.
All of them. Elijah Arrows. Love the Rush
Chris Painter.
division right now. Chris Painter.
Yeah.
You want to see some clips?
Love the
We
Rush
do.
division right now. Let's see it. JJ Lawson doing a little Sabu here,
That's impressive.
taking out. If you'll hear his interview with us in the next few weeks. Sabu was someone that he cited as a
That's right. Yeah.
influence. I will note that right after the spot we just saw, JJ Lawson doing a little Sabu action, the Rush division I guess Steven Steele comes out like right after that, and he implies that he's going to jump over the thing and then crawls through the ropes and jumps off and misses, and then they just keep beating him up. It's really, really funny.
Oh, yeah, he does a trust fall, right?
No,
And they don't
that's Evil Z. Actually,
Oh.
Evil Z does a little I'll call a coffin drop, a la Darby Allin. But yeah, whoever they have in the Evil Z thing, doing a little coffin drop. I like it. I like to see it. Do we have? Go ahead and show us our next clip, please. Yeah, so we see Brandon Davis. He spears Justice Davis.
Wow. Ladder to ladder.
From one ladder to the other, and busts himself open pretty damn good.
And those glasses have a camera in them, don't they?
They did. Not for this shot, though.
Not for this shot, no.
He had
but
broken them with a previous match.
that was what I had heard. Yeah.
And I can't tell if he got cut on the rope or if he got cut on the table, but it was scary. It was scary live.
Yeah.
Scary live.
I bet.
But I think he seemed to be good. I saw earlier today that he saw Superman early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we talked about it briefly at the Manchester show.
Just dunking on everybody going to see Superman
Oh,
early.
wow.
So I still think those two should form a tag team called No Relation.
The Davises.
Yes. Brandon and Justice Davis. They
No
are.
relation.
Exactly.
Nah. Let's see our final clip here. There's only one other guy in the ring, a bunch of other guys making their way to the ring. Steven Steele's just a little too quick. Takes it.
Wow.
Too late, guys.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
that man has impressive ladder skills to be
He got up there quick.
169
Yeah.
pounds.
He got up there quick as hell, man.
Scampered up that ladder like he was a lumberjack climbing a tree.
So I have to ask here. Steven Steele, obviously undeniable. It's 2 big wins in a row. 2 coups, truly. What's next for Steven Steele?
I think he's going to steal everybody's girlfriend.
Okay.
I mean, would you disagree?
Yeah, I think he's got his eyes on the prize right now. Girls come to him. He's not too. I don't think he's sweating him. Is what I'm saying. What do you think's up next for the title?
That I don't know. The Rush division is always full of ladders or matches that involve 6 to 8 people, or ladders, or tables, or chairs, or all of them, or these things turned into scaffolds, or who knows. There's just too much talent in the Rush division to be able to say, well, I think it's going to be Chris Exodus in the library with the lead pipe.
I'm willing to say it. JJ Lawson. JJ Lawson. I think he's got to be first challenger out, or at least first feud. I think he's got to be the first one-on-one feud for Steven Steele in the Rush division.
It is hard to say.
I think he's just.
I don't disagree with
I
you.
think he's
but
undeniable right now.
I just feel like whenever we think we have the answers, they change the questions.
That is just true.
Yeah, I just
Let me ask
sneaking suspicion.
Do you guys? So we already know Al Snow has gotten directly involved in this little thing once. Do we think he'll be back out to mess with Steven Steele more?
I mean, I hope not, because I think the run's going really, really well, and like it's great to have these great matches and these guys that are super duper duper athletic and they're moving a million miles an hour and they're jumping out of the ring and they're almost breaking their necks when they land, and all that stuff is great. It means so much less without Steven Steele in the middle of it. That's just my opinion. Like, Steven Steele, part of the reason that the Rush division has been great is because they have a new direction. That direction
Right
is
at Steven Steele.
And that direction is Steven Steele. Yep. So, up next, we see a old school beat the clock challenge between Jack Vaughn and an opponent of Donovan Cecil's choosing.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose Kentucky owned Cash Daniel.
That's right.
When we sat down with Donovan, a little minor spoiler for our interview with Donovan, he mentioned that he likes Cash. He understands where Cash is coming from because they both kind of come from a similar background.
That's right.
He was very humble about it. He said, "I'm no Cash Daniel, but we both did play football.
Yeah.
We both like to work out. We're both competitive." So no surprise maybe that Donovan reached across the aisle here to ask Cash if
makes perfect sense.
if he wanted this opportunity against Jack Vaughn, because this is a big opportunity.
Yeah.
I will also say Donovan Cecil said that Jack Vaughn is the best pure wrestler in OVW during that interview. So not only does Donovan Cecil have a lot of faith in Cash Daniel, given that he thinks so highly of Jack Vaughn, Cash Daniel does it.
Yep.
Cash Daniel beats the clock. Cash Daniel goes 3 minutes.
Here,
with
let's
Jack
see how
Vaughn.
this ends.
Love the ending. This is all it had to be. Was
just hang on.
Mm-hmm. Just Cash is tough. He might not have like the best repertoire. He might not have the best. He might not yet, but he's tough. And
tough enough to beat Jack Vaughn.
Tough enough to go 3 minutes with Jack Vaughn when Jack Vaughn hit him before the bell rang.
Yeah.
Low blow.
Yeah.
Not just hit him anywhere. Hit him in a special place. Let me ask you guys something. This time last year, we were talking about Donovan Cecil because of with his partner when TW3 when they were Tussin Chains.
Mm-hmm.
What would you think about Donovan maybe now becoming the senior partner in a tag team connection with one Cash Daniel?
That makes it sound like they're a law firm.
I think that is a direction that they could go. I think that there's a world where like Thomas Tiberius Rex is floating around in that conversation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe teaming up with Jack Vaughn. And by the way, I do know that guy. I have seen him before. He used to be in a tag team called like the Blockbusters, but not the ones that we saw.
Oh, the better Blockbusters.
Really?
I know that just by because there was another tag team called the Blockbusters. They're the better Blockbusters.
Now, are
The new
these the ones that were
Blockbusters.
put out of business by Netflix?
Probably.
That explains why I haven't seen them in a while.
I think they were there around the Netflix era, so maybe. I mean, quite literally.
Okay. Well, that.
But no, I
tracks.
do know that guy, and he just has such a different presentation than the last time I saw him. What am I trying to say here? No, I could see Cash Daniel and Donovan teaming up. Afraid there might be, maybe not from Donovan's side, or maybe Cash could bring it out of him. That competition between the two of them might be a little bit too much personality over there. Cash has shown himself to be very humble. Donovan has shown himself to be very humble. But these are two competitors, man.
Yeah.
These are two hosses. And guys like that sometimes have a hard time coexisting, no matter how humble they are.
That's true.
So, yeah, I think that that's on the table. I think it could be interesting. And I think that, this is... Are we going to continue with the 3-minute thing, you think? Are we going to move on to another challenge?
I think we'd have to move on to another challenge. I mean, Donovan clearly got the best of Jack Vaughn in the 3-minute challenge by not only beating his opponent very smartly, I might add, but Jack Vaughn not beating the opponent of Donovan Cecil's choosing. So I feel like we have to move onward and upward to a different challenge.
Let me ask you guys a question. I'll give you three options here. When do you think Jack Vaughn and Donovan Cecil lock up on OVW television? Before the next pay-per-view? at the next pay-per-view or after the next pay-per-view?
Let me answer your question with a question. When's the next pay-per-view?
I think there'll be one sometime in August.
The back-to-school pay-per-view?
Yeah, I don't think it's been announced yet, but I assume there'll be one sometime. That's Big One season. So I assume there'll be something like that.
Could be on the 16th, the day after my birthday.
That'd be lovely.
Be partying.
Pencil that in on your calendars, folks.
Be partying that up.
So what do you think? How soon do we finally see this be a match?
Possibly right before the next pay-per-view.
If you asked me what I wanted, it would have been 3 weeks ago.
Sure, I'm right there with you. I want to see this get physical.
I don't know.
I still think that there's a whole lot of room for these two to kind of play this rivalry out without actually stepping foot in the ring. And, I'm looking forward to when they do. But in the meantime, until that day comes, it's still very entertaining. I mean, Donovan Cecil beat T-Rex with a couple of hot dogs, for crying out loud.
He did do that.
I thought that was pretty entertaining.
Again, I want to watch them fight.
Oh, I know.
I want to watch Jack Vaughn and Donovan Cecil fight. Well, how long
Who
do I have
knows?
to wait?
That could have very well happened yesterday because they were at the Adams County Fair.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, but I want to see him fight on OVW
If I missed
television.
it, I'm going to be upset.
Maybe that was the precursor that you guys have been looking for that would predate whatever their OVW in-ring antics end up being.
Well, you often do see those sorts of matches. You see them like at the Country Boy show last fall. We saw Freya the Slayer take on J-Rod months before we saw it on television.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's was one of my favorite things when WWE actually did house shows and I was able to go to them, is you kind of were always able to get a slight glimpse into what was going to end up happening just
later
based
on down
who
the
was
road.
working with
Or
each other.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like enough to read tea leaves on, which that's, the whole basis of this show. So, reading tea leaves as a wrestling fan is a very, very worthwhile activity. Let's talk about our final match here.
Each of these guys, their second match of the evening.
Main event of the evening. Second match between the two of them, Crixus and Cal Hero. The finals of the heavyweight title tournament. The winner is the new heavyweight champion. Cal Hero, excuse me, has never been there before. Crixus had to drop it due to injury.
Roughly a year ago, yes.
Stakes are high. For basically the entire time that we've been covering this podcast, or covering OVW through this podcast, one of the questions that is always on the back burner, ready to get heated up, is this Cal Hero's time? That was the question that we went into this evening with.
Mm-hmm.
We have an answer. I do want to say one thing. The Lions Club would be pretty upset about the use of American flags this evening.
Yes.
As someone who knows and respects the flag code, yes. A lot of sad flags in OVW this evening.
A lot of crumpled up flags. We got to get...
A lot of flags.
Maybe the Lions Club reaching out. Maybe the OVW can reach out to the Lions Club, and that can be
Wouldn't
their
that be
next...
more like the VFW?
It was the Lions Club. That's how I learned it at Perryville
really?
Elementary School.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that.
We didn't have a VFW in Perryville. We had a Lions Club.
We had neither, but I was in the Cub
We had a
Scouts.
VFW hall that you could rent out to go do stuff, but they
But
didn't have a chapter.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Did it stand for something other than Veterans of Foreign Wars?
No.
Was it like Volkswagen something?
No, that's just where your cousins, not the same one that was in the Cornbread Mafia, but a different one.
Of course.
That's where your cousins dumb metal band would play, and you're like, man, hopefully some girls are here because this sucks. I hate being here. I hate doing this. Anyway, Crixus and Cal Hero. A lot of stakes, like I said, a lot of stakes on both sides.
I love steak.
If you look carefully, you can actually find me on camera for this match.
I thought so.
I'm on the hard cam side.
Oh, well, then maybe not.
No, I'm on camera. Yeah.
The
Like
hard
you were
cam is
working the
pointed
camera?
towards you.
Yeah, like Keith is right there. No. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, then I did see you.
Yes. I'm on the same side as
You weren't out there with the one on your shoulder, like kind of like walking around in the crowd or anything. Okay.
No, just sitting still watching a match.
Cal and Crixus
Yeah, there you are, in the
try to
corner.
Cal and Crixus try to start this one respectfully, tap gloves, shake hands, what have you.
Cal's all about it. Crixus finally relents.
Crixus is less enthusiastic than Cal.
That's being nice.
But we have a proper match here. It looks like these guys are going to come in respectfully. Looks like these guys are going to play the game right. Looks like both of them know that there's just a little bit too much on the line to maybe Cal doesn't cheat. Crixus seems like he's kind of over it.
He starts the match off with a Highland Heat Seeker,
But he
right
waited
away.
for the bell.
That is true.
He waited for the bell. That's a legal match, man.
Yeah.
If you get the pin, it doesn't matter.
Unlike some other people.
Right. Throughout this match, because the story of Cal Hero and how we got here has been one of suffering, Cal Hero kind of is clawing from the bottom majority of the time.
Yeah.
Right. That is what Cal Hero's super strength as a wrestler, is the ability to suffer. Right.
It's amazing, really.
It is. Like, it actually is. And that doesn't go away even at the conclusion of the match, right? Like, because Cal Hero's career at OVW has been one of suffering, it seems as if Cal Hero's title reign with the OVW Heavyweight Championship will be one of suffering as well.
At least it starts off that way.
Can we see... I do want to also point out, too, that it looks like we're going to get Crixus versus Tony down the road.
Yes.
Tony comes out and distracts Crixus, kind of gives Cal a huge opportunity.
I believe we see that this Thursday.
And I also loved them bleeping out Crixus's middle fingers. For some reason, that just made me laugh really, really hard. I don't know why.
I missed that.
I just thought it was really funny. Let's go ahead and see our clip.
There he's back.
So Jamin's back, and Jamin kind of distracts Cal, and momentarily it's, you know, you're unsure if it's a distraction or if it's like he's giving him permission to kick it into overdrive.
Or, if he's just there as an equalizer because Shotgun Tony Gunn had already been part of the match at that point.
Yeah, that's actually a great call as well. Crixus nonetheless takes the opportunity to capitalize. Big club and blow to the back of
Which
Cal's
he
head.
surely does. Better than anybody.
But Cal Hero takes home the victory here against Crixus. Cal Hero is our new heavyweight champion at OVW.
He certainly does.
Been a long time coming.
Do we have the clip of that?
I don't think I have the finish. I have the celebration after because I may have slipped up.
Can I go ahead and...
Yeah,
Well, we can scroll through here and talk about it.
No, wait, we have it. I'm sorry.
Crixus tries to go for the pedigree.
Pedigree. He reverses.
Kicks Crixus in the chin, and then the standing O. Crixus rolling right under it. Really, really, really making the moment impactful there for Cal Hero. Crixus even struggling underneath Cal a little bit, forcing Cal to hold his shoulders down to the ground. Just really making Cal earn it. Really, really, really putting over the moment that these two guys are having.
It really was.
You love that standing O into a flip.
So, do we got
yes, and we do have the.
Let's go ahead and see how we wrapped it up here. Jamin Olivencia enters the ring.
There's a congratulatory hug. You feel like this is going to be the feel-good ending that everybody's been looking forward to. Jamin Olivencia has been away for a while. He raises Cal's arm.
And then...
Standing O.
Boom. Onto his head.
And there's a moment there. Maybe I'm reading too much in the tea leaves, where it looks like Cal knew it was about to happen.
Yeah, tried to get in the way.
It looks like Cal goes for a spear, but as we were saying about the standing O, that's what makes it such a great move. You can hit it on anyone, out of anywhere, immediately.
Here, I'll bring it to...
But
you can hit it from a chair. You can hit it anywhere.
There's a moment there where it looks like Cal maybe even expected this out of Jamin.
Yeah, was ready for it.
Yeah, he had clearly braced himself in the split second before that happened.
He drops the belt and everything.
Boom.
Just not enough.
Yeah.
You can't, at the end of the day, Cal is the student here. Jamin is the master.
Clearly.
So, like I said, not a lot of time for a young Cal Hero to celebrate, but that's because Cal Hero's career is sorrow. It has to be. That's what he does. That's what he does best. He's great when he's in peril. He's great when he's in danger. Congratulations. He very much deserved it.
Yes,
Very much
congratulations,
deserved
good
it.
sir.
It's about time, man. Congratulations, Cal Hero.
Sorry about the standing O at the end, but everything else, congratulations.
So, as always, all of our clips are brought to you by OVW Wrestling. We appreciate them for sending these clips over. For all of us here at Blacklight Moon Productions, my name is Jack Minoaks.
I'm Brian Hines.
For Tiny Brian Woodard, for Malachi P.S. Woodard, for Victor, we're thinking of you. See ya.